Welcome everyone to Your Little Castle Show. We are always looking for people with backgrounds that excitement that they can share with us so we can learn a little bit. We've got an expert in the building today. He's been doing this since 1982, actually a little before that, but you kind of got the business up and running and been doing this helping consumers, people, homeowners, and some incredible work here. But you want to go with the gentlemen many times that they have a real strong background. In 1982, I remember I said that's when the Cardinals won the World Series last, back when I was a kid, and I tell you that was kind of exciting a year for me. But I was only 10. You're just a little bit older than me, so obviously you've got a little more background there, and we're going to share a little bit about what you do and how you're doing your construction and what you do to help families. Is that that's what you've been doing for a long time now, Gary?
Yes, sir.
That's right. So Gary Moss is his name, by the way, everybody. If you didn't see there he is on the screen up there for everyone. But Gary's been doing this, like I said, for a long time. But decks, roofs, all kinds of construction, interior, exterior,
Kitchens,
bathrooms. You
bathrooms.
could build somebody a house if they needed a whole house. You've done that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, with that, everybody, welcome to the show. We're going to put back on the wide camera. And you see, we got a shout out to our sponsors because you build nice houses so people can put nice things in their nice house. So you like Carroll House because you like nice things, and Gary will build you the house where you can put those. And that's what we like. And I came up with that I saw Brooke the other day. We got some more furniture from him for our another Airbnb we're setting up. But in your little castles where you like to put those things. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump in here. A brand new Facebook page Gary's got, and just putting all the good stuff out there for everybody. And then on the other side here, there we go. All kinds of his work we've got up here on the wall. So Gary, welcome to the show. Let's get in. Let's talk about what you've been doing here for how many years now. So we're going almost 50, almost 60, almost 50 years. A little over 50 if you were 82, right? 52 years, I guess is what that is.
42 years.
42, sorry, 42.
I'm 61.
That's right. See, that's why I need smart guys like Gary to remind me how to do math. But tell me then, why did you get into this? You told me a funny story about why you got into this. What was the reason that helped you get into this?
It was my dad. I'm second generation of this.
Okay.
And he taught me, and that's what I learned. And I kept on doing it.
And so you were actually working on these kinds of things when you were, what was the earliest age?
9 years old, I was doing my first roof by hand banging. They didn't have nail guns back then. And
8.5.
Go ahead.
Yeah, nail guns, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have nail guns back then, but my dad had me up there on the roof hand banging at 9
Right.
years of age. He popped the lines and everything, and I just put the shingles up there and hand banged it.
Well, that's the way you do it back in the olden days, as they
Yeah.
say, right? And so a strong background, but as a little kid, and so you just didn't have much choice. You tell me that Dad said, you're doing this, right?
Yeah,
you're doing this,
what
and
it
you're going
was.
to learn this, and we're going to get you started. But it turned out to be a very successful career.
Absolutely.
You've got a long list of happy customers that you've worked with for many years now. What do you think it is that led to your success? Was it just kind of bred in you? You do the job right?
I believe it was God and leading me to do things right and trial and errors and stuff like that I learned from the homeowners, because there's a lot of things out there that they say it will work, and you find out by talking to the homeowners that it doesn't work. So that's where I'm at with all that.
Okay. And those literally, like, you just kind of some divine intervention there. I think there's definitely a higher power that helps us kind of move through. And there's times you said where God said, you're going to go this way. God said, you're going to go that way. How does it, you think he's helped you over these last?
Oh, absolutely. I get what the world calls deja vu. Before I get there, it's already sealed. When I get there, I seen it already the day before, and the world calls it deja vu, but it's a lot of them are job sites. I didn't tell you about this, but on the money wise, when I got money from cashiers, the money that numbers written on it was the next bit on my job without even me looking at it. So, but yeah.
Wow.
It's all God. He gets to go.
Foreshadowing, I guess they might call that. So where they're saying, here's what's coming, and the numbers were on the bill.
Right.
That you said, here's
Right.
Was that the total for how much somebody was going to spend on that project?
That was just my bid to give them without me having to see the job even.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Some divine intervention there. Somebody looking down on you, telling you, here, be prepared, and it'll make it easy for you. If you match these numbers up, this is where you're going to end up to help your next client, your next guest, your next customer. Well, then, what do you think that it is that's really helped you create the longevity? So many years of experience here. is it all hard work? You think there's some divine intervention to come?
It's,
You just follow the signs you see
It's
from
all
God?
God. It's all God. He's giving me my strength still today, and everything. It's all God. It's all God.
Okay.
Everything.
Everything. And it's just
Everything.
from a matter of when you run into a problem, or you've got something that goes wrong, or so you got a customer, you got to make sure and go a little bit above and beyond. This is God coming to you, and He's saying, "You got this, man, Gary. You're going to follow my lead and make this happen."
He reveals to me what needs to be done. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, how does somebody reveal to you? I don't understand exactly what the reveal means, or help us understand that. I guess it's just kind of it's brought forth.
He says, "Yea, I tell man once, yea, I tell man twice, but man perceiveth it not. In a deep sleep, when man's head is upon the pillow, he sealeth the instructions, so that he may hide pride from man." A lot of times I go to jobs and I don't know what's wrong or anything, but he'd tell me the night before what's wrong with it and what have you, and then I take care of it from there.
Okay, so there's another a voice, if you will, that you can hear it. Can you see it, or is it? It's just a matter of that guidance you see. We're getting kind of deep, kind of early here, ladies and gentlemen. But I periodically, my dad has gone up to the next level. We say the baseball stadium in the sky, right? My dad and I both love baseball, and there's just times when I feel like I was at a funeral for someone else. And I just whispered in my own head to my dad. I said, "Hey, is our new friend up there with you?" And he whispered back,
Yeah, that
having
stuff's
a good
real.
time. We're up here hanging
It's
out.
real.
Plenty of time for you to have fun down there on planet Earth. God's got work for you to do, but we'll be up here waiting for you." Is that kind of how the way the world works? And
Yeah.
this whole universe, or what is it that makes this all happen?
It depends upon your walk with him, but yeah, I've encountered many of those. Yeah, I had an aunt pass away one time, and I asked God, why am I here? Everybody's crying, and I know she's going to heaven. And then I put the rose on her, last dirt and the rose on her, and I said, "God, I really don't know why you had me here for." And I heard her in her own voice say, "I appreciate you being here, Gary," and that was it. Went and told my mom. I didn't tell my uncle because that was her husband then, because he was crying and what have you. But yeah, that's a lot of that happens a lot of times.
Well, I tell you,
times.
there are times in our life where there's certainly going to be some reflection. Not to get too deep into it, but we're all here for a purpose. God has a reason for each one of us to have our print on this little planet. And it seems like you've kind of found yours. Do you have a little bit of your personal belief in God that comes out in your work? Does it help you to design and get work done?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I built over 100 homes and what have you. Actually, I don't know from day-to-day basis what I'm going to be doing, but it's sealed there. Most of them are sealed inside of me to what to do and where to go and what have you. Yeah, it's a day-by-day basis, I don't have nothing that's given to me too much out the road or what have you. I did kind of what Truck said I was getting, that he'd tell me be 6 months down the road and stuff like that, and what have you. But as far as the jobs are, everything's waiting on me. All I got to do is just walk into it, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, an interesting perspective that a lot of us don't take. A lot of people, I guess maybe people do have these thought processes, but they don't talk about it much, and it's certainly not on the show. So we appreciate you kind of sharing your perspective on that a little bit. But there's definitely this does impact the work that you do, and it helps you to have some guidance, if you will, about how you're going to finish a job and where it's going. Or it's kind of laid out there for you by God, you believe.
Oh, absolutely. God uses people too, and if he don't give me the design of it, what have you, the person that I'm doing the work for will have the design set up already. So yeah, he uses people also.
Okay. And there's connections made and people that you meet and things that happen. And I'm one that believes that. Gosh, I don't know how many times in my life I'm sitting there and I go, I just got sidetracked. I got put over on something that wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do, but then I ran into somebody that I otherwise would not have met and reconnect. Just happened to me the other day at the Cardinal game. I'm like, I was supposed to be over there, and we didn't go over there, and we went down over here and sat in this little section next to some people that weren't as good as our seats that we had, or whatever. And then all of a sudden, but I was somebody I ran into. I remember exactly what it was, actually. And it was a gentleman that came up to me, and he says, "I was watching you do your cheers and stuff with the fans here, and I had to look you up, and I didn't realize you went to Central Methodist College, Central Methodist University." I went there too, he said. And I played basketball, and then we had another conversation a little bit about our connections there. My dad was the college admissions counselor there, and this guy played basketball for Coach Sherman, who's just got put in the Missouri Hall of Fame and Sports Hall of Fame, and all of that would not have happened if I hadn't been in that section and I hadn't been in that area. These are the kinds of interventions that you have, divine they call, from God, where you're getting things done because God put these in front of you for you to understand.
Yeah, just like when I walked up to the house and saw you, it was already sealed, and I've already seen you before. And I didn't tell you that either, but yeah, everything. Now I wanted to cry, but anyway, God's good. Everything that is God has for me is already set in front of me. I just need to walk into it.
Okay.
And go ahead.
Yeah. See, and how do you think these are prepared? God knows what you need. God knows,
absolutely.
and so then he puts you in situations that are going to get you where you need to go next.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how has that helped you with your business?
Well, it's everything. Without God, I'm nothing.
Right?
Yeah, it's everything. It's everything.
Okay.
How do you explain everything?
Yeah. Well, there's very little that we can do on our own, right? We have to have help from those around us and those that are contributing to what we do. But at the same time, things don't happen just by accident, right? There's no accidents.
Oh no, there's no accident.
No coincidence.
Right.
Everything. There's no such thing as a coincidence. Some people say.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Everything's like I said, everything's laid out in front of me. All I gotta do is walk into it. He puts the people there. He puts everything there for me.
You like that, everybody? So everybody, it's laid out in front of you, and you just have to walk into it. Take note here, everybody. Things are out there for you. Take your opportunities that God puts in front of you, and don't squander them.
Amen.
There's some parables about that, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Don't waste. All right. Well, then tell me then. You've had a lot of feedback from customers. What's some of the most exciting things that people have said to you from some of the work that you've done? We're going to show some of the work Gary's got here. Good looking stuff.
They say I do great work, but when I'm doing the work, I'll see every little flaw and what have you, and I think I'm a perfectionist. And then when I go back 2 days later, I don't see none of it. And so, but they don't see that. And then when I go to show them, this, and this, and that, that's, my mindset is perfection. And sometimes I feel like I don't meet that, but the homeowners convince me that I have.
Okay.
That's just.
Can you give me an example of something that you've heard from a client who said, Gary, I had no idea you were going to be able to do this, but this looks beautiful or exceptional, or what do you think?
I do a bunch of tile in the kitchens and stuff, and tile is really perfection part of the backsplash and what have you, and sometimes they'd be sticking the 16th inch out past the other ones, and they can't see it, but I can because I'm doing it. And then when I point it out to them, that's nothing, the 16th ain't nothing, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like
we
that.
do measure our tape measures in 16ths of inches these days, right? Right. As opposed to centimeters, which not too many people in America use, metric versus.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was something down to a 16th of an inch. That's something you notice, and you're going to pick, especially when I backsplash. And I'm with you, man. You see those little edges. We've got some things here we've worked on to put this studio together, but nothing's ever going to be perfect. But you got to keep striving and pushing. What do you think that provides you the opportunity to have such quote unquote perfection? Is it divine intervention again? Is God giving you certain set of skills that you've got?
It's all God. Every bit of it's God. It come to me something because I never do the same thing over again. So when I'm in there and I'm going through it, it just come to me naturally. And sometimes if it don't come to me naturally, I wait, and then it come to me naturally when I wait.
Okay.
A day or two later.
Okay. So you're not a pressure guy. You're not. We got.
I try not to be. I try to stay in the day, but homeowners sometimes they want to get you into the mall and next day and what have you. And I was taught to stay into today, and I try to get them where I'm at with that. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And yeah, that happens quite a lot. I had a big time developer. I went over the United States and done a bunch of buildings. And he'd always tried to get me out there, and I told him I'd let you plan all this stuff, and it never worked. So about 4 months into it, they gave up on it. They just let it be. And with people that I've done work for 10, 15, 20 years, developers and what have you, they understand that aspect now. But homeowners are a little bit different. So yeah, it takes a little bit more patience with them.
Okay, so somebody like yourself, you need to have room to breathe. You've got to be able to let this process facilitate so you can create this is art, right?
The more I practice doing that, the better off I became. Don't know what is that. Then sometimes they're not happy with it, but that's not my fault,
Okay.
But the end result is everybody's happy. You know, at the end, by the time we get to the end of the job and it's done and they're paying, everybody's happy.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah. So I guess what you're saying is, you kind of have a gut feeling for how this is supposed to turn out. You'll be working on it along the way, and they may say, "Hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? We don't quite understand this," and give us a little more feedback. And then as you continue to work through it, by the time you're done with it, they're going, "Very good, Gary.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the vision you had. Is this a vision? And this vision you think comes from some divine?"
Sometimes it comes beforehand. Other times it comes while in the process of it. You know, and then when sometimes it comes through the homeowners. You know, God's using people, and they'll tell me what they want, and then that vision will come to me. That's already sealed of what they was wanting. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And this has helped you to do business and be successful now for 42 years, and no reason to change what you're doing now. The proof is kind of in the pudding. Again, we're going to show you a lot of the great work you can see on the wall here. I'll do a zoom out in a second here. I'm going to zoom in on this wall. Actually, I can put it up right now. Take a look there. But here's just some examples, and we're going to go over these a little bit. I'm going to ask Gary probably on our next show to talk a little bit about each one of these jobs, and he's got videos and other stuff we might be able to get as we go through this a little bit. But a lot of great looking work here. But each one of these jobs, each one has its own needs and things that have to be put together and finished and done correctly. And feel like you've got that vision for all of these, and it comes from a little bit within and from above. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Or
okay. All right. Well,
I like that. Yep. Or
simple answer. I get it, because ultimately, if you boil it down, none of us got here on our own, right? There was always some predecessors and history and a lot of support, and obviously I believe there's some higher power that kind of led us to where we're at. What is it about your business that you would say really separates you from the other people that do the same kind of work as you do? There's a lot of people who do construction. What's one big advantage you bring to the table to help people?
The intel of it. I never do nothing the same, and when I get there, nobody really knows what they want to begin with, and as we go through it, it turns out it just comes through as we're going through it. You know, I never do nothing the same. I think that's about it right there. I never do nothing the same, and we walk through it, and the ideals and everything that come up, which I believe come from God, and lots of them I do know come because of the visions and what have you. And the other ones where I'm just learning with the homeowners, their ideals and what have you, trying to put that in the same perspective is challenging. But by the end result, everything's great. You know, everything works out good. So.
Okay, do you think so? You talk about every job has its own. There are no two jobs you've had, even if you were cookie cutter. There's no cookie cutter work.
When I did spec homes, yes, you know, did spec homes. I built over 100 homes. I did spec homes. There's only 4 designs, you know, and stuff like that. And
right.
But in the last 20 years, I've never done nothing the same. Everything's always different. So.
And is it fair to say, even on the spec homes, the interior, there was always some other caveat that made each one of those unique, because they added a
plant shells and stuff like that, and just plant shells, stuff like that. You know, because spec homes are basically the same. You know.
Right. Yeah, the design is the same. But I can't imagine some people are
Color's
obviously
different.
Ordering things to be a little bit different trim, different features. But for 20 years now, you've kind of strayed away from that, and it's all custom stuff.
All custom,
and for some of the decking, roofs. What's your favorite part of the house to work on? Do you like doing kitchens, baths?
Kitchens and baths. Actually,
okay.
I don't really have a favorite. I love doing it all. You know,
okay.
I've been doing a bunch of LLC homes here recently, gutting them out and redoing them, and those are challenges, because then you have structural load bearings you have to change and everything else like that, but I have a structural engineer and all that also. So
there we go. So there's some big words. Structural engineering. That's what you've got to have, some of that background before you.
I got it up here. I just don't have it on paperwork. But I got one to sign off on.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you have to go through, get the permits and all the regular routine that anybody requires. And you've been doing it now for 42 years.
Yeah.
And this is something that you can say. When somebody comes to you, I mean, how do you get most of your business? Is it word of mouth? People, they see your work, they've heard about you, they've got a good word from somebody. Is it a little bit of divine intervention
over the last 40-something years, because I have developers that I've worked for 20 years, and they're big time. You know, they're all over it, and I guess you can say a lot of word of mouth, and most of it by God, though. Everything that comes from God, you know.
Okay.
So, and the people he uses could be the word of mouth and what have you, but it all comes from God, you know.
And so do you answer to God periodically and say, "Hey, God," or
I
is
hear His
it
voice every day.
really?
7, 8,
Okay.
9 times the Holy Spirit. When the Holy Spirit, when He talks, is not the same as God. When God, they're all three the same, but when God talks audibly, you can't, you don't know. And there's still a small voice that talks to us. And when you and when the best way I can say is that I'm familiar with it, I know it, and the more you experience, the more you're familiar with it. They call it an unction or a drawing, what have you, but I hear the voice plain as day, and it tells me what to do and everything. And the rest is operated out of faith, though. Once He tells me what needs to be done, and I go through those motions and ask Him to lead me and guide me, the rest of all that is faith. So yeah.
Tell me then, how does faith work into what you're doing? Is it that belief that this is going to get, is it going to get done? I have to have faith, right?
Well,
God
yeah.
has faith, the faith.
Don't ask me how it works. I know it works.
All right.
I trust Him, but now I'm not perfect at it, and sometimes I'll think I'm not good enough. Like I said, I'm a perfectionist. Sometimes I think I'm not good enough, what have you, and then the homeowners would confirm to me, "Hey, you've done a good job," and then 2 days later, I come back, look at it, and I don't see what I saw.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that different perspective you have, and that's just sometimes a matter of reflection, a little bit of conversation between you and the powers above, and you say, "Hey, let's go back and review here," and then you can see things differently.
I don't know if I did all that.
That's why I threw it out at you.
Yeah, I just know I know. Well, I just know it. That's the way it turns out. That's just the way it turns out. I try to give everything to God, even my work, everything. But I do good work. But like I said, I'm a perfectionist. And I don't know how to define that. But overall, I'd say 100% of it, the homeowners are happy and everything else, and I got good clientele, and they do tell other people and what have you. And but again, I still give that credit to God, because God uses people.
Okay.
It seems like when I say clientele by word of mouth, what have you, that I'm trying to take the glory, and I'm not. I'm just giving it to, it belongs to God.
And it's helped you to get through this successfully now for 42 years. So maybe we should all learn a little bit from this perspective. Because but just as not a whole lot of people talk about this. But you really feel like this is what's been behind your business to help you be successful.
Absolutely. I wouldn't say it was 42 years, though. I would say it was right at 33 years, 34 years now, when I received the gift of the Holy Spirit.
Okay, so there was a change about 10 years in, and you said, "Hey, something's going on here." You just felt different. How did that come to you? How were you made aware of it?
Do you really want to know?
Well, I mean, just give me the short version of it. We got about 5 minutes left here.
I don't know, all these gifts of the Holy Spirit, speaking in tongues and power flowing through the palm of the hands and going places already been there before. This started happening, and I thought I was losing my mind, and I wasn't. I'd go places, already be there. In the world calls it deja vu. That's not deja vu. That can happen all day long, day in, day out. It just depends upon your obedience to God. And I just fell obedient and started doing what He told me to do, and it's happened ever since then. And that is what has generated basically everything. Having faith in Him that He will lead and guide me, and everything's supplied.
Okay, I'm with you. I had a conversation. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to share a little of my own personal insight here too, if you don't mind. But I believe there's a system. If you want to look at it objectively from a perspective, there's a system we have here. And if you go with the system, helping others, doing good, contributing, then things go your way. If you go against the system, there's things going on in our planet that we all know about right now, where they're trying to control things and make things unknowns to us, but others be in control of, and that's just not the way God made it. We're going to battle against that. They're never going to make that successful. And so go with the system that's in place. You're not going to reinvent the system. You're not going to create the system. You're going to just
That's what it is, helping others and what have you. I didn't want to share that part about it, but every dollar you give to the poor, God gives you 100. So my mind, this is when I first learned this one. Then my mind said, well, I give the money and just to get rid. It don't work that way, because if that's the case, you're not even going to give a dollar. And I had to get past all that. So I give to people all the time and do service work and everything for people all the time.
All right, everybody. So we got some insightful perspective here, and this isn't just about business. This is about life. This is about the reason we all may or may not be allowed to continue on this planet to help other people. What would you say if you were to talk about, and however you want to bring this up, but because maybe it's about in general for customers you've had where they've had a disconnect from the higher powers, if you will, but what's a big mistake that people make that when they're making a decision to have this kind of construction or work done? Do they not allow you to use the skills and the connections you have?
Not giving all the glory to God.
Okay.
Yeah, giving all. Usually, people when I come into it and it's already pre set up. Okay, so when I come in and I make suggestions, what have you, it usually works out all the time. So it just works out. Everything always works out. I've got a lady now that the contractor's gotten her for money and everything else, and it's quite a lot of money. And I've been with her right about 7 months now, just to get her back on track to what she had lost. And yeah, each individual differs, okay, yeah. But the main thing is giving God the glory, and God the honor, and everything always works out for me, so.
You've proven this works, and if you continue with that, you seem to have success from it and feel good about what you're doing, too.
Oh, I love
all
what
the
I'm
money
doing.
in the world doesn't make you happy, but if you're doing
no.
good.
I love what I'm doing. I love my work.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell. I just, like I said, there's very few people that I think are willing to share that perspective that you have there. And it's interesting because I think it is so intricate, so important, so part of what we all deal with on a daily basis, but not many people want to talk about it. So I do appreciate you coming in here to share that with us a little bit about that. So tell me then, as we wrap up, this is our first segment, everybody. We've got two half-hour shows Gary's agreed to let us talk about. But as we finish up here, these will all be available. You can watch these at any time later. I'll give Gary a copy of both of these. But tell me then, when is a time where you felt like you really helped a client and somebody needed you and you had to go a little bit above and beyond? Maybe there's some divine intervention or God led you there. What would you tell me about a time when you really had to go out of your way and just said, I better do this right to help somebody?
I didn't know I was going to be talking about this, God and what have you. And when I got in here and I seen these questions, I prayed to God to answer what He would have me to answer. And to most people that God sends me to, usually something's wrong with them and their family and what have you. And now I'm being touched right now. But God heals people, and I'm being touched and wanting to cry. But they keep confidence in God and faith in God, and there's going to be a revival here pretty soon. So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, everything we've had a pretty exciting last few years on this planet, and some people argue this is just kind of the way the world works, and it goes in cycles, and there's going to be a bit of a revival, you believe, coming.
Oh yeah, God's going to heal people. He's been healing people where I'm at now. So, but yeah, I've experienced the healing gifts of God for people and laying hands on people. A lot of times it's that there. So, and then everybody gets blessed though. It's all blessings, everywhere it's blessings.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for more. We'll finish up this first segment. Gary's got some great insight for us. I appreciate your perspective, Gary, sharing with us. And we'll get into this. We're going to show off a lot more of his work as we get here going for the second interview, everybody. Stay tuned. Giddy up.